I was halfway through welding a latch on my barn gate when I noticed that little buzzing shadow again, just above the treetops. A drone. Fourth one that week. Maybe it was the same one. Maybe not. They all looked the same. Plastic pests with blinking eyes. My dogs, Gus and Ranger, were already barking like it was personal. I pulled my hat down, muttered to them, "Come down a little lower. Boys, let's see how well it flies with a hole in its belly." That's the kind of mood I'd been in lately, because something had shifted out here on my land. You see, this farm wasn't just dirt and fences, it was legacy. 160 acres passed down from my father and from his before him. I'd modernized it over the years, solar panels, rainwater systems, even a chicken coop that texted me when the hens laid eggs. It wasn't fancy, but it was self-sufficient, secure, and mine. And yet, the past month had been different. Cars with blacked-out plates parking too close, strangers pretending to birdwatch with their GPS apps, drones circling overhead like vultures. I could smell it. Trouble was on the way. Then she showed up. Blonde bob, oversized sunglasses, a smile so stiff it could crack glass. Lavender blazer, leather folio. She walked up to my gate like she owned the road. "Hello," she chirped into my camera. "I'm Marissa Caldwell, president of the Green Valley Heights HOA. Just wanted to have a neighborly chat." I buzzed her in against my better judgment, because as much as I hate surprises, I hate unanswered questions even more. She stepped out of a shiny Lexus, plate reading BLSDLFE, Best Life. Of course. She looked around, cataloging my silos, the corral, even the old windmill, as if she was already photoshopping them out of existence. "You've got a lovely property," she said, handing me a glossy brochure. "Have you ever considered selling?" I didn't bother hiding my smirk. She kept going, talked about a wellness retreat, a members-only golf course, a luxury spa. They wanted my land to make it transformative for everyone. I handed the brochure back. "Lady, this land already transformed me. I've got cattle, crops, contracts, and a whole lot more dignity than to sell out to a yoga cult with cocktails." Her smile twitched, then froze. "Well," she said in a voice that suddenly had metal behind it, "we'll just have to pursue other options." And that's when my gut told me I was now a target. A week later, I woke to deep tire marks inside my gate. No one had the code but me. Then came 3 men in bright orange vests, HOA logos on their backs, climbing my fence like it was a jogging trail. 2 were built like linebackers. The third was pale, holding a tablet like it might blow up. "Morning, sir," one said with a nod. "We're here for a preliminary survey." I let the dogs out, shotgun in hand. Not loaded, but they didn't know that. "Survey for what?" I asked. "For integration of this parcel into the Heights expansion zone." The scrawny one piped up, turning his screen so I could see. My land, already carved into spa blocks, wellness cabins, even an equestrian zen zone. They'd renamed the creek running through my pasture, Marissa's Hollow. That was the moment I decided I'd burn this whole place down before giving them an inch. They stammered excuses, no documents, no court orders, nothing legal. I told them they had 60 seconds to leave. They hesitated. That was their mistake. I hit the sirens, the dogs charged. One guy slipped and face-planted in the dirt. Another lost his shoe scrambling over the gate. The scrawny one dropped his tablet and froze like a deer. They left humiliated, and by that evening I'd backed up my cameras, changed the code, and printed new signs. Private property. Trespassers will be filmed and mocked. But humiliation wasn't enough for Marissa. 3 days later, I was served papers right on my porch. Allegations of obstruction, brandishing a weapon, and failure to comply with regional integration. My land, they claimed, was now zoned for absorption. My lawyer, old Ms. Harriet Dorsey, a bulldog in human form, nearly laughed when she saw it. "This isn't a lawsuit," she said. "It's a circus." Still, she told me to gather everything. Deeds, receipts, permits, even feed bills. She wanted a paper trail thicker than Marissa's makeup. The HOA held a town meeting. I showed up in my dirtiest boots. Marissa stood at the front with a microphone, spouting about regional harmony and modern wellness. Then she dropped it. "One landowner is standing in the way of progress." Everyone turned to me. I raised my hand. "Couple clarifications," I said. 1. My land is private, not under your HOA. 2. Trespassing isn't progress. 3. If you send your goons again, Bring a notary at least. The room went dead quiet. A woman in yoga pants shifted like she'd just realized she'd joined a cult, not a community. Marissa's porcelain smile cracked. She tried to pivot, but her slides betrayed her, projected growth models with my property glowing green. I snapped a photo, posted it online that night. HOA plans to steal land and call it wellness. By morning, it had spread like wildfire. That broken tablet the scrawny one dropped turned out to be gold. My neighbor's kid hacked it and found investor decks, secret maps, even memos bragging that owner unaware of municipal adjustment process. And buried in the files, Marissa's history. She'd pulled this scam before in Arizona. Promised pools and clinics, delivered bulldozers and debt, then skipped town. Same woman, same scam. Harriet nearly danced when she saw it. This isn't a defense, she said. This is a takedown. Court came fast. Marissa showed up with 2 lawyers, slick suits, empty voices. They spoke of community progress and regional wellness corridors. Harriet rose without notes, calm as a storm. Your Honor, she said, this isn't about wellness. It's about theft. My client owns every inch of his land by clear deed. This HOA has no jurisdiction, no authority, and no shame. Then she laid out the evidence, fraudulent maps, investor pitches, Marissa's past scandals. Even the judge chuckled when Harriet said, if it walks like a duck and builds a spa like a duck. The HOA had nothing. No transfer agreements, no zoning orders, nothing binding. By the end, the judge dismissed their claims with prejudice and ordered them to pay damages. $620,000. Sanctions. Liquidation of assets. Their fancy tennis courts, their wellness pavilion, all up for sale. Marissa was voted out in an emergency session. Rumor has it she threw her latte at someone's Prius on the way out. A month later, I hung a new sign on my gate. Walnut finish, bold letters, private land, not for sale. Trespassers will be photographed, fined, and laughed at. My dog sat beside me as I admired it. That evening, Marissa's Lexus crept past. She stopped, stared at the sign, face hidden behind those ridiculous sunglasses, then drove off slow, like a dog testing an electric fence that finally bit back. The land was quiet again. Mine again. Next morning, someone left a sticky note under the keypad. Thank you for fighting back. Lot 14, we quit the HOA too. I smiled. Sometimes the best way to grow peace is to burn down a little first. Now, I'll leave it to you. Was I right to fight tooth and nail, or should I have rolled over for the so-called greater good? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Share this story if you've ever dealt with overreach, and let me know where you stand when it comes to land, legacy, and the people who think they own both.